mean, like I started about 7 years ago, so I had no idea, no big interest in fashion design, runways, and all that stuff. It was kind of something just me taking that typical artistic leap of faith from 9 to 5 jobs and all that stuff, and just joining with another clothing brand with friends and just trying something new. And then we started to actually do pretty decent for ourselves. I mean, we were young, didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
Like most startups for anybody, especially when you're with friends.
Oh,
and that's, yeah, that's a lot of issues come about that. But regardless, we started, it was a clothing brand.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a difference between being a designer and just being a standard clothing brand where you just print shirts, sell them, and your goal is just sell clothes. And, I mean, we can get into more details later of what we do now, but it got to the point where we're selling clothes, but it was like, if you're selling something, you should believe in it. And not only believe in it, I mean, it's clothes, it's made, so I wanted to learn how to make clothes.
Gotta get that good energy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have good energy, then what do we truly have? You know what I'm talking about? Because you gotta go into every endeavor, every artistic endeavor with positive energy. Because if not, I'll tell you what, your ability to never settle for anything less than perfection will haunt you forever. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's your motherfucking boy, Gamero, the Pharaoh, the poor man's Robert De Niro. You know what I'm talking about, bald version. And it is another beautiful Saturday today. You know, we switch it up sometimes, you know what I'm talking about. But for you beautiful listeners, Thursday at midnight, you know what I'm talking about, every single time on YouTube, you gotta check out the YouTube. Cause yeah, we got Spotify, we got Apple Podcasts, we got Deezer, all that good stuff. But man, only on YouTube can you check out the man's beautiful grin. Can you check out the man's talents? You know what I'm talking about? Because we have a show for you today. You know what I'm talking about? There's examples, there's gonna be clothing. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna be talking about a plethora of things when it comes to the artistic realm. And how ecstatic I am to be able to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time at Midnight in Miami Studios, you know what I'm talking about? We have the artistic powerhouse that is Tony Visions in his house. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for joining me today. You know what I'm talking about. Tony, what an episode we have in store for our listeners today. Just as you pulled up, the man pulled out, a damn wardrobe with him. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see that in a couple of minutes. We're going to be talking about a couple different pieces. But before we dive into that, Tony, talk to me about the roots. Tony, where did it all start? Because we're in Miami, which is, and let me know if you agree or not, a capital, I feel, for artists of every genre and every branch you can think of. You got singers, you got rappers, you got fashion designers, there's so many different umbrellas of artists, down here. What kind of legs you down this path as opposed to so many other, I guess, so many other branches of arts that right now are very packed up, it's flooded. Talk to me about that.
I mean, I started about 7 years ago, so I had no idea, no big interest in fashion design, runways, and all that stuff. It was kind of something just me taking that typical artistic leap of faith from 9 to 5 jobs and all that stuff, and just joining with another clothing brand with friends and just trying something new. And then we started to actually do pretty decent for ourselves. I mean, we were young, didn't know what we were doing. Like most startups for anybody, especially when you're with friends. And that's that's a lot of issues come about that. But regardless, we started. It was a clothing brand. So I mean, there's a difference between being a designer and just being a standard clothing brand where you just print shirts, sell them, and your goal is just sell clothes. And I mean, we can get into more details later of what we do now, but it got to the point where we're selling clothes, but it was like, if you're selling something, you should believe in it. And not only believe in it, I mean, it's clothes, it's it's made. So I wanted to learn how to make clothes. So after teaching myself to sew, about 6-7 months later, I was able to make pieces from, you know, just customizing pieces, jackets, old stuff, taking stuff apart, putting it back together, and just everything can be unseamed and then put back together when you really. That's just life in general, but also.
Bro, that's a metaphor right there.
Yeah,
that's a bar.
I mean? Yeah, you just gotta take it apart and then figure out how it was put back together.
Hell yeah.
And then put it back together. So it's
My dog on his Steve Jobs shit over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, you speak about the difference of, you know, merely, you know, printing shirts and really being able to understand the inner workings of clothing.
Right.
Why did you aspire for more? Like, why was it not enough to just print shirts? Why did you need more?
It's a good question, actually. I mean, I would say, I mean, I'm not in it just for the money and the business side of it, which is obviously something that has to be capitalized on to an extent. But I think there's more to it. To me, I figured out that fashion is more empowering than anything. People who say, "Oh, I don't give a damn about fashion and that," but they still wake up, decide what they want to wear, what represents them for that mood, that day, even if it's subliminal. You know what I mean? It's powerful. So when I got thrown onto doing runway shows, and you see the difference when you put a certain designer on a stage that is making pieces that for the show. A show is to entertain people, as opposed to designers who put pieces on the stage that will only want to be sold in masses, which is a goal as well. But there's a time and a place for stuff like that. So we started doing shows, and the crowd loved our shit way more than anybody else.
Hell yeah!
And it's because it's different. It's because we put together looks that represent something more than just looks and like, please buy this now. You know?
Right.
So I think that was just seeing that it's a form of empowerment.
Oh, definitely.
And that's something that I've always stuck with, and I think the money will come when it needs to be there, as it always is. Like,
if the passion's there, the money will come.
Yeah, if you're walking the right path, you always have what you need.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
If I don't need $1 million right now, it's for a reason. If I need it tomorrow, it'll be there.
Exactly. God, that's beautiful right there. At what point did you decide that this was more than merely a hobby, and like you said, taking the diving into the unknown, quitting that 9-to-5 and pursuing this? Talk to me about that moment.
I mean, after you're just doing things and not knowing what you're doing, I mean, time goes by and your pockets start hurting. It's like, damn, where's all my money going? Where's all my time going? Like, it's like, okay, is this... I mean, it's almost to a point where you're not even thinking about it, because you're doing what you love to an extent. And it's not like you just be like, okay, I think I'm going to love this, so I do this. Like, people go to school, they go get their bachelor's, master's, and then they wind up just being an artist for the rest of their life and starting from scratch and doing better than they ever did. You know, it's like certain people are like that, and it's good, it works. People play their positions, but it got to the point where it's like, I mean, I'm going through, when I first started, it was like 3 hours of sleep max a night. Just because I was still working a 9-to-5 for a little bit to get through, but I get off that job, go straight to my warehouse, and keep doing whoever knows what with clothes till like 3-4 a.m. and then go sleep and just wake up. You know what I mean? But
bro, and that's passion. You know what I'm talking about?
But it's energy.
Hell yeah, it's energy, bro.
It gets to a point where it's like you just can't. It's too much energy.
I'm not 20 years old anymore.
Yeah, and you gotta be able to understand when you've reached a level to where it's like you're okay to put more of your energy into that, because it'll work out better.
Wow.
You know, like that was our college back in the day.
Right.
As opposed to actually going to college, and college people know you need a lot of energy, a lot of late nights. It's the same concept. Yeah. You know?
Bro, that's why there's a damn Adderall problem in this nation right now.
A lot more than that.
Bro, facts. You know what I'm talking about? Tony, talk to me. You know, you mentioned your clothing style matching your mood for that day. Is that a regular thing? You know, if you're in the dumps, are you kind of more on the darker tones? Are you, if it's an exciting day, if you have a show or whatever the case, do you kind of flash it up? Talk to me about those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, almost 90% of the time I'm wearing all black. Like,
Gang, bro.
Like, if I take this off, I'm just
for real.
I could have a million outfits in my mind. I'm gonna wear this, that, and I wind up in black boots. And, and I mean, I feel like it's more. I'm a little bit more of a subtle person. I like to just kind of be in there and not be like the highlight of everything.
Gotcha.
When I go to big scale fashion shows, just get a jacket.
Hell
the jacket does everything for you, bro.
Yes,
That's
it does.
why I do garments that are just so powerful. Like, you could just walk in somewhere and everybody will come to you, as opposed to you have to try to fit your way into people. And hey, bro, like people just come up to you, yo, that jacket, that dress that person's wearing, like this. They come to you and it's like, I make this. Like,
bro, that's a selling point right there. I might need a Tony Visions original because the man said they come to you. I was like, I like that. Bro. I like that.
It works.
Hell yeah, bro. And I wear black too. It's not a fashion choice. I just hide my love grips on the side. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's facts. You know what I'm saying? That's facts, bro. Tony, you briefly mentioned school. If there's something that all sorts of artists that have come through here in any sort of medium, we've had video game designers, we've had recording artists, we've had any sort of artists that you can think of, and you know, some of them will mention Full Sail, they'll mention different schools or whatever the case. What's your school of thought when it comes to fashion schools, AI, all these places? Is it a waste of money? Are you actually learning? Did you have any sort of experience there? Talk to me about that.
I mean, I didn't have any school experience, but I think there's a very fine line of knowing your book smarts and knowing your street smarts. So there's so many obstacles that I know I could have avoided if I went to school. But at the same time, there's so many obstacles college people and people who go to school can avoid if they were just actually in the field. Like nowadays, they hire people. Sometimes a lot of places they are actually hiring people based off of their experience more than their college. Like, you could have gone to school for 10 years, but this guy's actually been doing it for 10 years and has no experience, but he really knows how to do it. Wow. It's you know what I mean? There's pros and cons, but it's like anything in life. I always tell people, get what you need out of it. And I mean, if you go to school and you are a month away from finishing and for some reason you just stop, like, whatever, you got what you needed.
You got what you needed.
But I mean, if you can stick through it, by all means, I'm pro school, but everybody's different.
Definitely.
Some people can't sit in a class, and that's just what it is. Like,
bruh, for real.
I was probably one of those.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I'd go to a class, I get something really dope out of it, and I just won't go back. I'm like, I'm good with this. Like, that's it. Like,
that's the life hack right there.
I mean, it's pros and cons, bro.
Pros and cons. Yeah. Talk to us about your very first fashion show. Were the nerves, up here? How did you get involved? What was your involvement? Talk to us about that.
My first fashion show that I was ever put into was a really dope show, actually. It was with a company called Walk Fashion.
Big shout out.
Big shout out to Walk Fashion Show. Deshaun Franklin. I am Crystal Bailey. Amazing. They produce shows all over the world still. Like, they're just constantly going. It was at the Hard Rock Stadium.
Damn.
Yeah, it was under there. Yeah. So I mean, I'm always just like, the door opens, like, let's go, whatever it is, and let's get it over with, finish it. Yeah. But I mean, I think it was a great experience for my first one. I mean, I had a good friend, and he was like, you don't put these on runways? And I'm like, what is a runway? Like, that's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't dream to be a runway designer, but it's like, I guess let's do it. Right. So, and then I just gathered a bunch of my new pieces, dope stuff. And we did it. And like I said, the crowds love it. And we kept doing little shows here and there. And then it just picked up. And it's a great way to present what you're... It's like as some artists and rappers, and they speak through their music, through lyrics, and I kind of speak through my collections and my clothing,
Very cool. Very cool. Speaking through your collections and your clothing, talk to me about maybe a show that you attended or a designer that you're a fan of, that maybe they had a runway show and there was a theme. There was kind of like a movie, like an ongoing theme, and you can tell there was a story being played out. Talk to us about that.
Well, one of my favorite, and probably one of my only favorite designers is Alexander Mcqueen. So, I mean, he specifically was he was contradicted to be. They were really, is he more of a showman than he is a fashion designer at some point? Because in his prime, when he was doing shows, it was a show, which is something that I love because you don't always have to be forcing sales on people. Like they're gonna buy it because they like what you're doing. They buy the story, the reasons, and all that stuff. But yeah, like he's done shows where I mean I wasn't there, but I watched these documentaries and it's something that I get a lot of inspiration of. Like he's done shows where would have like a projector and it just made it look like a ghost is just on the stage and the wind is blowing the dress.
Wow.
And that's just like the entry. He's done a show where the finale was a big box of nobody knows what it was. It was in the middle of the runway the whole entire show, and then at the end it just the walls just fall down and there's like a fat naked lady with butterflies and a bunch of weird stuff in it, and it's everybody's just like, what the hell is
what's
what
going
is
on?
this?
Yeah, right.
But it has a reason, like, you know, maybe. And then he did a show where all the girls, this was very contradictory too, like they all looked like they were like beaten and like
I think I remember that.
And,
Yeah,
like, he got a lot of heat from that.
Yeah, he did.
But I mean, it had a reason behind it. You know what I mean? People don't always. Some people just look at it and be like, oh, that's inappropriate.
Right.
But there was a reason behind it.
Right.
I didn't dig into it because I was just like, it's dope. Like,
hell yeah.
But there's reasons behind it. I'm sure like he's done collections that look like trash, and then the collection is like more like neutral tones and like just rugged, maybe vintage inspired stuff like that. But
are you afraid to push the envelope like that? Is it something that maybe you're afraid of the backlash that you'll receive, or are you all for expressing your artistic opinion?
I think I meet in the middle because it's a tough crowd out there, bro. But,
hey, bro, Miami audiences play no fucking games,
they
bro.
They're vicious.
Yeah, they are. Bro. Everybody, comedians, singers, everybody says the same thing, bro.
Everybody's very sensitive nowadays. Yeah. So I think it's important to like have some type of boundary, but there's ways to push the envelope subliminally. I think subliminal stuff is great. Like just
give me an example.
I mean, like collections. Like when I dropped my 20XX collection, I usually drops like visuals, like campaigns stuff. That's how like I can kind of push the envelope a little bit. Put, like little clips of like world matters, like showing different things.
Right.
Like everything that's going on in the world, some things that people might be sensitive about, but I just wish that everybody's like, we're all human. Everybody's a fucking sinner at some point.
Facts.
But, I mean, hopefully everybody's trying to work to a higher level.
Right.
And we just have to accept all this crazy stuff that's going on and just, you know, push for that empowerment somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Like pushing the envelope is like, the envelope's going to like some sensitive persons. Hopefully there shouldn't be no envelope. Like,
yeah.
Talk. But this is where you get like, you gotta have a good circle of people. Like,
definitely.
And just stick your opinions to who you know and figure out how we can make our opinions more relevant and bigger and little by little open the envelope.
Yeah, for real.
For me, that's easier because
just rip that fucker open.
Yeah, eventually.
Tony, you talk about keeping your circle small. Do you, when making a new design, do you go based solely off of your intuition, or do you sometimes get a second or third opinion from friends or people in the industry to see whether this is heat or it's not?
I do everything just on my own right now. Still, yeah, because I mean, I get all of my inspiration from everybody around me, from everything that goes on around me. I'm like a sponge, basically. Like I'm not a more social person, but I'm listening, I'm feeling everything, I'm hearing everything, I'm absorbing everything. So, I mean, to an extent, everything I create, I mean, it comes from in my head, but that comes from my circle, people I hang out with, people I talk to every day, people that I love, and people like, you know, everything comes into play. Worldly matters, everything that's going on around me. So all that stuff comes into play, but we are actually slowly building a design team too, to start getting more and more people involved and more help, basically.
Right.
But I mean, as far as like creating designs and collections, I do a lot of like processing those in my own head and then figuring out what can make more sense, I guess.
Are you excited about branching out, you know, making it a little bit bigger? Or are you concerned about the delegation of tasks?
I think for the past year and a half, I've been very concerned with the delegation of tasks.
Okay.
But I think we're getting to the point where I'm getting more and more comfortable with
Right.
letting go of certain things that need to be let go of, and just finding the right people. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's everything.
And I mean, you just said it. Finding the right people, it makes a world of a difference. You know,
100%.
people you can trust, people that you know their artistic, vision is kind of similar to yours. Very important.
Yeah.
And speaking of vision, Tony, where does the name Tony Visions come from? The people, they gotta know.
Yeah. I mean, Tony was a nickname I've had since I was young, so that was just that was the easy part.
Okay.
And then, I mean, when we started doing the runways, we needed a designer name. I didn't even have a name yet. Like, it was just that. And then, I mean, it was just a thing that people would always say I had this type of vision for all this and that. And I mean, I think a lot of people do have visions where you can see things, whether your eyes are closed or open, you can envision something, and it's just something that you need to see through, you know what I mean? So that's something that I have and I do, and a lot of people I think might do that as well. But it's, for me specifically, I if I see it properly and it's there, it's for a reason, you know? Anybody has a certain process or mind state, and it's continuously, you need to like go through with it, you see through it, get the tunnel vision for it, and and just go. And I'm all for understanding the visions and how they play into your mission, and seeing it through, and just doing it. So we just put Tony Visions together, and then it was just like,
and it stuck. It stuck.
It just stuck, and people were like, "It sounds dope." And
it rolls off the tongue.
I was like, "Perfect." Makes my job easier.
Hell yeah, bro! That's marketing 101 right there. Ladies and gentlemen, every single week, you know what I'm talking about? We have 3. I said 3 segments. You know what I'm talking about? And the first one is actually called Mail Time. You know what I'm talking about? And in this beautiful segment, I actually ask our illustrious guest your questions. You know what I'm talking about? Because every Saturday, boom, there's a new post on the Instagram, and you got to follow the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? And you yourself, you can submit questions that we're going to read on the air. And here we go. So, Tony, this is the questions that the people clamor. So, the first one, Tony, from where do you draw inspiration for your designs?
From the world, everything going on in it. I have a heavy heart when it comes to the worldly matters and everything that's going on, everything that humans in general have been through. The only thing I've ever liked in school was history class, because those are like, they're in the books. This stuff probably happened. But I mean, my inspiration comes from everything going on. Like, I think it's probably a reason the last 2 collections have been more of the darker tones. I mean, it's been a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Of course.
A lot of flames have been going into a lot of my collections. Now that's 2 collections. I mean, I feel like the world's basically been on fire almost to an extent.
Shout out Australia. It literally was on fire.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, man, just worldly matters, things going on in our communities, our environments, and just making stuff that either is uplifting to that moment or blends into that moment, I guess, too.
This isn't one of our weekly questions, but I did want to know on my own regard. What about your roots? Talk to us about your roots. Does your background have any sort of, does it play any inspiration on your designs?
I guess to an extent, yeah. I mean, I do a lot of camo stuff and like very American style stuff as well.
Born and raised Miami?
I was born in California.
Okay.
And I've been here since I was like 7 years old. So basically raised here. I'm basically from South Florida now.
Gotcha.
So, but I mean, my father was a Marine. My grandma was a nurse in the Navy. My grandpa was in the Air Force.
Oh, you can definitely see that sort of inspiration there.
So there's that American, like, fuck the world.
Right.
And then I'm also Colombian, so I mean, I like a lot of different color patterns and stuff.
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, as far as like, I don't think it plays too much on it.
Gotcha.
I would say just that American part of it.
Very cool. I know the vest is a very big thing in like the South American hip hop community now. Yeah. So that definitely plays. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So second question for Tony. Tell a story about having to improvise last minute before a fashion show. Something that, something happened, a dress broke, freaking, there's a damn wardrobe malfunction, shout out Janet Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that happened in a fashion show that you have to improvise last minute. Talk to us.
Oh man, I would say every single fashion show. Like, literally, like every fashion show. There's always something.
That's the magic of live, something right there.
I would say at this point, I improvise life as I go. Like,
bro, you can put that on my tombstone, bro.
You got to be ready to improvise at any point. I mean, at every show, there's something happens where either a dress or a piece could rip or something, and it's like, thank God for safety pins, basically, because just make it just stick together. It's like, yo, you just have to wear this for 10 seconds. So I mean, we improvise, make it
barely
work.
Move. You know what I'm saying?
Or like we'll have a show. And then all of a sudden, the backstage AC doesn't work. So we have about 40 people in the backstage.
Bro, I can smell that room right now, bro.
And it happens. So we just like, all right, let's go to Walmart, buy 30 fans, return them the next day.
Gang.
Improvise, bro.
Gotta do it, bro.
So, I mean, we make it work no matter what. I mean, the people never see what's going on backstage. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
So all the crap that happens, like, just don't let it go to the front of the stage.
Oh, bro, and that's such a good quote. Yeah, you never want to see behind the curtains.
Yeah.
You just enjoy the performance.
Unless you're trying to work back there, don't go back there. Enjoy the show.
Yo, for real, bro. Because then you see all the stage managers, how stressed they are and all that shit. Oh, my God, bro. Yeah. Horrible. Last question from our mail time segment. Tony, what has been your most challenging design yet?
I would say, well, I just started recently getting back into more couture stuff. I started making dresses, so that's definitely been a tough thing for me. I started making dresses for everybody to get a little bit more couture style, and I mean, but it's been working out. Thank God to learning how to use these mannequins, sewing machines, but it's been a hassle. That and my bulletproof vest. Sewing through bulletproof vests is not easy. I go through at least 10, 15 needles a vest.
Bro, we were talking about that before the show even started, bro. Those needles are no joke. Yeah. I mean, and people don't even, I feel like that's something that people don't really think about too much. Just the amount of the materials you have to go through to make every piece. Like, people think it's, there's a lot of trial and error, I would presume, definitely, with having to work with such difficult textiles.
Yeah, and you learn. I mean, if you've never learned, there's so many different textiles. So once you get this cool fabric, this design, and all this stuff's amazing, then it's like, it doesn't sew the same. You have to,
right.
There's a lot more to it, and I didn't go to art school. So
right.
I'll just rip it and then figure it out.
Yo.
And undo the seam, do it again, but
damn.
Improvise.
Right. First of all, thank you for those people who send in those beautiful questions every Saturday. Please check out the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Send in those questions. What's something that I guess when you first started, and correct me if I'm wrong, where did you start to learn how to sew? Was it YouTube? Because you learned by yourself. How did you learn?
I'm sure there was a little bit of YouTube involved. There's always YouTube, and when it comes to learning anything on your own. But I mean, it was really just like I said, I started by literally taking a shirt and cutting it by the seams on the sides, and then if you can do that, each thing comes apart piece by piece, and then you put it back together. So there's basically, that's a pattern right there. That's a sample right there. You just made a shirt without having to. The difficult part would be actually making that from scratch with no pattern, obviously.
Right.
But that's the basics, and then I bought a $60 sewing machine from Walmart, and then I had old jackets. I got a bunch of patches and different fabrics and stuff, and just started just sewing. Wow. Just figuring out, my hands were getting stabbed every day for like 6 months, but long nights.
Looking like a damn addict and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Something. But damn. I mean, making dope pieces and then realizing that you did it all wrong. It's all sewed wrong, so you have to literally unstitch every single. You'll learn by doing that,
Right.
So if you go too far in anything in life, then you'd be like, damn, you gotta fix all of that now. So you gotta go back and unstitch every single stitch you did, and then do it again, and you probably will do it right that time.
Hell yeah, that trial and error.
Trial and literally, yeah, bro. I mean, I think that there's a lot of metaphors that can be used for making clothes to life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is something that I also think is really dope. But
hell yeah.
But you mess it up, you gotta you can undo it still to an extent. It's gonna be
Right.
little scars and scratches there, but you can undo it. Nobody's gonna look inside and be like, oh, it looks like you messed up here.
Right.
It's not happening.
Tony, I want to ask, one of the most, I guess, fluctuating things in the fashion world is pricing. We were talking about printing shirts or whatever. Boom, you got a damn Supreme Nas shirt going for $900. And I don't know the amount of work that went into that T-shirt, but just from the ignorant viewer's perspective, I can say and I can see the amount of craft and work that goes into your designs. I would blindly say far more time went into that than a T-shirt, and it's going for $900. What's your point of view as far as how a T-shirt can go for $900 when it costs $5 to make or whatever the case, and your designs take a significant amount of time to make, and there's definitely a variable in there. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I consider my clothes like street luxury, so I try to blend. I mean, I get that not everybody, especially in Miami, no offense, but we're not trying to spend $100 on just a T-shirt.
Facts.
Especially not $500 on a jacket because it's probably too hot anyways.
Right.
But there is that market, obviously, but most of it's not, and that's not the market that I came from. So I understand that. But, I mean, I have the street, more affordable stuff. I mean, I do have $20, $30 tees, shorts, little stuff like that. And then I have the hundreds of dollars worth of jackets and garments, and so I have both spectrums. So as our capital raises, I'm trying to blend that.
Right.
But I mean, like you were saying about like the Supreme and Nas, I mean, obviously it seems ridiculous, but I mean, people don't always pay, especially like the mass consumers, they don't pay for, the production of it and all this stuff. They're paying for the name of it.
Right, the clout.
So yeah, the clout of it. So Supreme, I don't think Supreme's been around too long. I think it's been like 30 years more or less, but they have a very big, reputable name.
A loyal fan base.
It's a collab with Nas, you said, right?
Yeah, it's literally just a picture of Nas on a white tee.
And then you got Nas. I mean, he's done his thing in the game for, you know what I mean? It's his life, basically.
Right.
It's not just like the tee, just a $5 shirt, but they got Nas and then they got Supreme to collaborate on it. So you got this man's entire life and reputation, and then you got this brand's reputation combining to it, to where it's like, this is what this stands for.
Wow.
And at the same time, people want it, so they sold it for $20. Like the
people set the price.
Correct. Yeah. It's like Bathe and Ape. I'm not a fan of their stuff anymore, but they sell out of everything they do because most of their stuff they do like collaborations with artists.
Right.
So they release it they release it in a collaboration like with a big name artist. So then it's gonna sell, and people are paying for it because it's the hype and then it's the names and then the stories behind the names, as opposed to how is this shirt made? Like they don't care about that.
Right.
Like, which is unfortunate, but there's, you know what I mean? That's more of like a hype market.
Gotcha.
I guess. And then there's also that market of people who buy small businesses, big market also. And then there's a market of people who want real fashion and new stuff. And then there's market of exclusive buyers, people who want stuff that can't be found anywhere, which I love that market right there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what's your clientele? What do you find your clientele base being comprised of? Is it the general audience? Is it a majority of artists or singers or rappers who are trying to look fresh to fucking death for a performance? Is it what? Talk to me about your clientele base.
My main clientele base is more like you were saying, like artists, people who want to be more exclusive.
Hell yeah. That one of one, baby.
Yeah, like a lot of artists, they come into the game and say, oh yeah, I need that Supreme shirt that was in that video. I need the Gucci shirt that everybody and their mom is wearing it. It's accessible. So, then there's artists who like they need something that's different. Yeah. That's something that you cannot find anywhere, because once you get that piece, you own that piece, like this is you now.
Hell yeah, that's a damn NFT, bro.
Yeah, that's an NFT.
You know what I'm saying?
It's exclusive. A lot of people, they buy exclusivity. Me personally, that's why a lot of times I wear all black, or I just throw one of my, like I don't want to wear anything that everybody has,
Right.
unless it's a black shirt.
Of course, yeah.
Then it's like it's nothing, bro.
Bro, if they can find it on StockX, so can you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You need a one of one. You need that Tony original. You know what I'm talking about?
For that right time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And speaking of clients, how many times do you get kind of like, I mean, I don't want to call them difficult clients, but difficult clients, you know what I'm talking about? Like, they have so many requests and so many meticulous, it needs to be this way and this way and this way. Does it ever get overwhelming, or are you always trying to please the client?
I mean, I'm very picky with the clients I accept as well.
Good.
I mean, energy is a big thing, bro. Like, I mean, I've turned down money plenty of times.
Gang.
Like, I'd rather, for my own sanity sometimes.
That mental health, boy.
Yeah,
Shit.
mental health is a very serious thing.
Hell yeah,
And,
bro.
I mean, I could just sit here and take orders all day for customs, but I mean, then I might as well go back to a 9-to-5 job.
For real.
It's the same thing. I'm not doing anything for me. I'm doing work for everybody else.
Right.
I'm very picky with my clients. If I need to like what it's gonna represent, like what's the situation, what is it for. Like, I have certain friends that I grew up with that are doing amazing in the industry. They come to me with a project. I'm like, yes, thank you. Let's go. Let's do it. Like, you give me inspiration finally.
Hell
and then
yeah.
someone else would come, oh, I need it. I'm like, yeah. Even if they have money, but it's like, it's gonna take how much time? Like, I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's not that much money.
Right. And you also have to be passionate for the project.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's important. I think a lot of people, they start doing some type of art and they just get so caught up in doing it for money that they forget about like what they're doing it for, because you're just making money, but you're not working on your own projects.
Right.
That takes away from your time, it takes away from your energy, your inspiration. Like, you're focused on somebody else's vision. So like, it should be something that you at least like, I think.
Right.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about? Tony actually brought some of his original pieces that we're going to showcase today. I'm very excited to talk about them. Tony, why don't you bring out the first piece you want to talk about, and we will showcase it on the camera. Let me make sure we get a good angle on this beautiful piece. There we go. So what do we have here?
So this is one of the latest Bulletproof vests that we made, actually.
On this one.
Pop this.
And make sure that it's looking clean.
We got the gold chains sewn into it, some patchwork.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one was definitely a headache, but it came out beautiful.
It came out absolutely beautiful.
This is kind of
Absolutely
like some
beautiful.
like mixed with like Roman warrior
Oh,
stuff with American
shit.
vibes.
What was the inspiration behind the patches?
I mean, the olive green is a very standard like military vibe. So
Right.
I had a bunch of military patches. These all signify different things, and the services lingo and stuff.
That's a beautiful
I wanted
piece.
to add some gold chains
Oh,
to
yeah.
give it that sense of royalty too. You
Ooh.
know, like you could go and like slaughter a village with this.
Oh
like-
damn, bro, that's facts, bro.
And then this one right
Shout
here.
out Coney 2020. What was it 2012?
And this right here is a splatter paint one that we did at one of our latest events.
Wow,
Got some embroidery, some
The
splatter
embroidery work, bro. And you know, that's sweat. That's like 10 needles right there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, embroidery is something that it's very big on my company too. I love embroidery.
Yeah?
Because stitches and it never fades. It's nothing.
It's like- it's such a-
there forever.
right.
You know, any ink eventually it fades after a while, but embroidery is
It's always
that's
gonna
it.
be there.
It's gonna be there. It's not going nowhere.
That's absolutely
But yeah,
beautiful.
so this is obviously more of a street style.
Right.
And then the other one was like street, but a little bit of luxurious. So this is like basic. That's a street luxury piece.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. And I could definitely see a performance in that.
Yeah.
I could see going to damn Art Basel in that. You know, there's so many. It's so versatile.
Yeah, our Bulletproof vests do really well with a lot of artists. Artists love those.
Okay.
For sure.
Very cool. Very cool. I know there's a piece, if I'm not mistaken, that when it hits the flash, The color changes. Let's bring that bad boy out. And on the camera, you might not be able to see the color change, but guess what? Boom. I'm going to take a picture with my flash and you'll see it on the screen next to it. And you'll see just how versatile this piece truly is. We're going to hold that bad boy up. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why you got to be on the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, if you on Spotify, yeah, that's beautiful. We can hear luxury, velvety, berry white-like voices. But, ladies and gentlemen, you got to go on the YouTube to truly check out these beautiful pieces.
So this right here is, we made this from scratch as well. This is a reflective dress.
Hold it up a bit, please.
I don't know if you'll be able to see through here. Take that flash picture.
I got you. Oh, wow.
Come
Wow. Wow. Look at that difference.
Yeah, that's...
Like night and day, ladies and gentlemen, like night and day. You see the comparative picture on the screen. And you know what that means? That means when you're walking on the runway and the masses of paparazzi are taking pictures of you, boom, you're out here like a damn chameleon. You know what I'm saying? You're damn like Nightcrawler out here. Surprise, surprise. And what's kind of like the target market for that piece?
That's definitely much more couture, higher end piece. So like, I mean, lately I've been enjoying making much higher end pieces. Like this is from scratch. You know, this piece I wouldn't let it go for under $300.
Facts.
At least it should be worth way more.
That's a bargain, yeah, for real. Yeah.
But I mean, we're getting there. You know.
Yeah.
When I go out to other countries and stuff, I sell with much more confidence at a higher price because they actually buy it.
Right, of course.
I scare a lot of people away down here. So.
Bro, I believe it. Wait, we got damn gnocchi barato over here. It's gonna be a hard. That's a market right there.
Yeah,
and I believe we have a couple more pieces for us to showcase. I love that the jacket is out of this world.
Trench coat?
Oh yeah, the trench coat and also the paisley. Was the paisley you were telling me about? Yeah. Look at this bad boy, ladies and gentlemen.
The immortal paisley good jacket right here.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Stand back a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. And bring it down. Beautiful. Oh, that's hard.
You got the embroidery, you got the patchwork, paisleys right here.
Wow, bro. That's popping on the camera.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
This is the stuff you wear it at somewhere that everybody comes to you. It just attracts everybody.
Bro, that's giving me Michael Jackson's performance vibes, bro. Like, God.
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a piece. How long do you think that one took?
So I had this one made as a sample.
Very cool.
So I had the actual outlet of it made, and then I did the embroidery and the patchwork. So, I mean, this one probably takes about 8 hours, I'd say, more or less.
Wow.
Yeah, because this one it's a pretty simple cut. It's just the fabric. The fabric does all the work for this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. I might need to make an order on some paisley because I'm in love right here. That is absolutely beautiful. And I would love to check out the trench coat as well. Yeah. We'll do one last piece. You know what I'm talking about. We got to showcase the pieces. Got to showcase the pieces.
It's the Matrix vibe.
Ooh-wee.
Yes, sir.
All right. Stand back a little bit. All right. Wow. 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 That is to die for.
So obviously you can't wear this walking into a school or anything like that, bro.
Bro, yeah, bro. You don't want that, bro. You get hit with damn Columbine allegation.
This is a statement piece for
sure.
It's
a damn
this
statement
stepping
piece.
out, you can't not look at it. I mean, it's latex.
Wow.
We have some patchwork down here.
Wow.
Some embroidery, and we sewed some of the wings on the back. This piece, it came out. It's a statement piece, like I said. You come out in all black, shiny. It's a very heavy piece,
bro.
It's
that's a neck breaker right there.
It's a neck breaker, yeah.
It really is.
But yeah.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. And as he's putting it away, I wanted to know what was the inspiration for the wings for that piece?
I've done a lot of wings on my pieces. I mean, wings obviously they usually resemble like angels or obviously flying. So I mean, I feel like putting wings on very dark pieces, it's kind of like opposites, you know. So I wanted to be able to show that darkness, but having the shiny wings at the same time, so that you get both like it's more like abstract, almost it pulls everything out. So I mean, it definitely worked. Anytime I bring it out, people get that. It's a weird vibe. So dark, but it's almost uplifting.
Wow. And I did want to ask you, you had mentioned, it being a dark vibe, weird, uplifting, and just the impact that the current world has on your designs. Talk to us about when the pandemic first hit. How did that affect your creative process? Did you halt? Did you go into overdrive because there was so much inspiration? Was it difficult to find customers? What happened?
I definitely halted for like a good 15 days or so. I was like, I think everybody for a second was like, is this the end of the world? Like, is this it? We're done?
For real?
But then, I mean, obviously it isn't, it wasn't. I mean, my whole entire business plan kind of changed because, I mean, before the pandemic, I mean, it was just nonstop shows and going to events and this and that. Like, that was my market, was going out there and selling things physically, having people buy things at shows, at runways.
What do you do? Pop-up shows?
We do pop-up shops. I mean, we did over 200 fashion shows in like 3 years.
Wow,
So,
bro, that's pulling numbers, dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
like,
all right.
we were everywhere, bro. Like that was our thing. But when the pandemic hit, it was like, it's perfect because it gets to a point where you might not need to do that much shows anymore.
Right.
Like, you got to slow down. You got to sit down and figure things out from another aspect. So now, I mean, we have the capability to execute a show at any given moment with no stress at all. But now we're working on the back end of stuff, which as we weren't before. Because before it was like we're out there just going, everything. It looks great, promo, everybody's hearing about it, this and that, but we need to get the business perspectives together as well. You can't do that if you're just head first the whole entire time. So
is it difficult for you to find the balance between the creative aspect of it and the numbers, as far as like, hey, are we selling enough? Are we like, yeah, we're expressing ourselves artistically, but how's the business side of things? Is that a challenge for you?
100%. That's my last challenge, I think.
Dang.
Like, I mean, I think any artist has a issue figuring out the business perspectives. And that's why a lot of the best artists, they wind up dying before they can reach that it's sad, but I mean, they wind up either losing their fucking mind or
cutting their ears off.
Yeah, and then they're dead. They'll never know how great of an artist they are now. Like,
right.
But finding that perspective, understanding that you need to find that perspective is a great thing first. So, but yeah, now, I mean, we're a lot more meticulous about this stuff. So we're trying to take things a little more on a business perspective. Like we're done with it. We know how to do all that cool stuff, the promo, all that cool stuff. Like that's consistent no matter what. That's easy at this point, but we need to formulate that plot and actually go through with it to be able to get that capital to take things to another level. So I mean, we've been doing much better. You know, we're doing a lot less shows. I'll tell you that much. Bigger shows, you know, as opposed to just saying yes to everybody who wants us to be on a show, or just doing shows that.
So quality over quantity.
100%, yeah. Before it was just quantity.
Right.
Well, the quality was there, but it wasn't the
spreading yourself thin.
One. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, basically, but just. Yeah, I mean, but like I said before, I mean, to an extent, that was my college as well. Going out there and just doing everything, and just like I've learned so much from that. You know, a lot of people might come out from an art institute and they get thrown into a show and not know how to do anything, you know, like, but we perfected all that back end of the actual industry. So now we're just legitimizing everything.
Damn.
We're almost there.
Almost there. That's beautiful.
Almost always be there.
Oh, bro, that's facts. And speaking of almost always being there, Tony, I can sometimes consider myself a perfectionist for certain things. You know, I'll do spoken word and I'll always be like, well, I can always add another bar, you know, or if I'm doing a verse, I can always add another, you know. For you, is it difficult to tell, like, all right, the piece is fucking done. I'm done. I'm not adding any more thing. The stitching is done. Because perfectionists have that problem of like, when is the art truly finished? Is it ever truly finished?
Yeah.
Is that a problem for you?
I would say it used to be. I mean, I think it's important for us to accept that certain artists are that way. And if you're that way, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. But you need to understand that it's never going to be done.
Right.
So, I mean, if somebody wants to buy it as it is, then sure. Like, like that's fine. Like, I was probably going to do something to it like 2 years from now. But, and that happens. There's pieces I've sold pieces that I wasn't done with, but to them it was done. So it's done. Like,
hell yeah.
But that's more for like the custom pieces and less pieces that aren't as simple to produce, you know? Like
right.
T-shirts and shorts and stuff like that. Like, those are easy to be like, this is done.
Right.
But when it comes to like something that for artists that actually put their hands on stuff, like painters, like I know it's a huge thing. Like there's always something that could be done, but in your mind, it's done for tonight, and then you might not come back to it for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like damn, but then maybe that's what it took, and then you finally got that inspiration. Was like, where's that painting that I stored away?
That's so true.
And then they go back and finish it,
bro.
So like some people, they say, oh, this painting took like 9 years. It doesn't mean that they were sitting there working on it every single day for 9 years, but like to actually be like it's done. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
so true, bro. I've continued writing songs after fucking 7 years and be like, all right, let's pick this back up. You know, like.
But you got to get to the point where it's like it's enough for right now. It's enough to put it out.
100%, 100%.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. That's something I feel like artists sometimes have a problem doing, keeping it moving and forcing themselves to finish that project right there. If the inspiration is not there, leave it aside for a minute, come back to it, you know?
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's
if
okay.
It's not there, I mean, there's nobody judging you.
Facts.
If it's not right, don't do it. Don't force it. And go, just keep it moving, though. Don't stop. Like, go to the next one. Like,
that's
a lot of people, they do that and they stop, and then their careers are done, basically. I've seen that with so many people. I try to keep my door open as far as people that I work with.
Okay.
I tell people, anybody... Before, definitely in the beginning, I was like, anybody that wants to work with me, let's do it. And then, you know, they stop for whatever reason, and then they chase something else in their life. I never say anything. Do what
makes you happy. But then they come back like 3 years later. It's like, maybe you didn't really love that specifically, so which is okay. But, But if you stop, just keep it moving. If it's really what you like to do, you'll find a way to do something pertaining to that to benefit it. Right.
You know, but.
Tony, you had mentioned, you know, people outside of this market sometimes being a little bit more supportive in that sense. What was your first experience like when you maybe left Miami for a fashion show or left the country? What was your first experience like for that? And yeah, were you nervous, or had you already, you know, you had already mustered so many local shows that you kind of knew what was going on?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I try to keep a mentality of like, once you accept a gig or something that you're gonna do, like the goal is to just finish it. Like the goal isn't to think about it when you're there. Like you know what you're doing. This is the plan. Like nothing should go wrong. Things always go wrong, but you just improvise through it. And
ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
you know?
bro. But I mean, the biggest show was the first time that I did a show in Times Square in New York, and that was like, I mean, God. I didn't really.
How'd that come about? Like, you're brushing it. It's Times Square, baby. Like, oh shit. How'd that happen?
It was everything's through different connections and people who support you and want you to be somewhere at the right time and this and that. And like I said, a door opens, I walk through it.
Oof.
If it has to be, I mean, if a door opens, it's a specific ones for a reason. Like, and he told me that it was gonna be like in Times Square. I mean, I honestly didn't think it was gonna be like right there in the middle of Times Square, like thousands of people. I thought it was gonna be at a hotel there or something like that. And then we walked up to the street and we're like, damn, there's stages in the middle of Times Square. I mean, I'm with all my models and photographers. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like,
spot it up, baby.
Let's just do it. I'm not gonna be like, holy, oh my god.
Yeah.
Get scared now.
I'm like, all right, go home, guys. Like,
yeah. Nah, but yeah, I mean, that was. But I mean, like you said, I think we had enough showcasing done and local stuff and all this. I mean, doing the show isn't an issue. There's no point in being nervous about it. Like, it's gonna happen no matter what. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna do it. But yeah, that, and then we did London Fashion Week.
Wow.
Last year, that was, for me personally, one of my favorites. I mean, I love London. We should be going back there in September.
If you have any pictures, please send them through. I'll put, you know what I'm saying? You can see them on the screen.
Definitely, I will. That was a really, really big show. And but I mean, with nerves and stuff, I just don't see the purpose of it anymore at this point. Like, we know what we're doing. We're somewhere we deserve to be there.
Hell yeah, that's facts.
And my goal is always just to finish the job, bro. Like, go home. That's it.
What's the most what's your favorite part of the entire process? Is it getting there and setting up? Is it the actual duration of the show? Is it when the show is over and it was a success and you're like, all right, the fucking, I got that shit off my shoulders.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah, gang shit.
The process is being done with it.
Bro, that's facts, bro.
The amount of, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's not nerves, it's just stress. It's just, which I guess could be a form of nervousness, I guess, too, but it's just stress because I know I'm going to have to deal with so many people and questions and this and that. Everything has to be ready by this time. It's just a lot that goes into play. Like, I mean, I'm not concerned that it won't happen or won't work, but it's just, it's a lot of stress. So obviously once it's done, I look forward to just being like, we're done.
Right.
And that's it. Like, put the clothes away. Like, let's just relax. I could take off my boots. Like,
oof.
Yeah, bro. But I mean, because there's a lot of work that goes out to those 10, 12 minutes on a runway.
Yeah.
Like models, they go through hours and days of stuff, and then all of a sudden, then they go do the runway. It's like 10 seconds for them. Like,
yeah.
But it's a lot that goes into it.
How often are you finding that after a show, there's been a piece that's been damaged?
Oh, man. Let's not talk about that.
Oh, for real?
It's a pretty common thing, especially with models. I think models definitely should take that into consideration, be a little more respectful of
shout out models.
Designer clothes. I know they're in a rush. It's tough, but definitely, I mean, we work hard on pieces.
So it's really, it's a constant thing?
For sure. I mean, when you're...
Give me a percentage.
Out of all of my shows, I would say like almost 10%. That's a big number.
That's a big number.
But I mean, it's as simple as putting a dress or a shirt on and your deodorant gets on it, or your arm touches a wall or touches a dust or dirt. It's very simple things, but I mean, It's also being like mindful of what you're wearing. Like, I'm mindful of my jackets if I wear one because I don't want to mess it up.
Right. Like, you know the amount of work that went into it.
That's probably why. But yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, a lot of it's dry cleanable, but sometimes pieces go missing, and like it's just I don't know.
Man.
It's a crazy world out there, bro. But
it's a crazy world out there, indeed.
But it's just clothes, so
it is just clothes. It is just clothes. At the end of the day, it's just clothes. But it is your artwork, so it does pain me. Ladies and gentlemen, every single week, you know what I'm talking about. I said 3. We have 3 segments. You know what I'm talking about, and the second one is actually the movie review of the week. You know what I'm talking about. And in this beautiful segment, we ask our illustrious guests for a suggestion, a recommendation. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about a movie, a TV show. Hell, we've had a video game designer suggest video games. We've had Sarah J suggest adult films. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Sarah J. Any sort of media. Now, let's say you had 10,000 people in front of you. They're bored for 2 hours, and you had something to recommend them to watch. What would it be?
Oh man, it's tough. I was binging on Netflix like a few weeks ago.
Hey.
I just watched everything. I would say, one of my favorite movies was Italian Job.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen that in a while, but
Italian
that's always
Job.
been one of my favorites. It's like a heist movie.
Oh, hell yeah, it's a
bunch of good
banger.
Actors. Yeah, it's dope.
Mini Cooper's on deck.
Mini Coopers, yeah, they got a whole mission, a whole plan. Everybody gets together. It's a dope movie.
Damn, I might watch that
I'll definitely
tonight.
say if you haven't seen that, check it out. If you like
Big facts.
Yeah, there's a lot of great actors.
How many stars would you give that out of 5?
I'd have to give it a 5 just because it's one of my favorites. There's certain movies you can just watch and it's like always gonna be a great movie.
Hell yeah.
That or any of the Will Ferrell movies too. Or stuff like that. It's always funny. Like,
Hell yeah.
I watched Superbad the other day for like the 100th time.
Such a
like,
good one. That's a classic.
Just can't stop laughing. Like
That's a classic. That's a classic.
Yeah.
What about TV shows? Any TV shows?
TV shows. I haven't been watching too much TV. Nah, I don't know. You tell me. You would have to tell me more than anything.
Damn. All right. So there's a Woodstock miniseries on HBO. It's looking pretty good. I haven't checked it out yet. It's like an hour and a half. So it's like one of those like miniseries, but it's really like a movie. It's weird. And then another one that I started watching called The Inventor on HBO. Very kind of like document. I don't know if you're into documentaries. Yeah. Documentary style about this chick that basically lied about curing cancer. Or not curing cancer, being able to detect cancer.
That's
crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy
TV
shit.
shows are scary though because if you start watching, you get into it.
Oh, you dive. It's a black hole.
Yeah. Sometimes I try to stay away sometimes.
Oh, bro, because then now you become a damn conspiracy.
10 hours go by.
Yo, for
you
real.
Brainwashed.
For real,
perspective
bro.
of life's changed. Like.
I'm about to move to Poland and shit.
Yeah,
it's this whole
bro.
thing. Nah, bro. But okay,
man.
damn. The Italian Job. And you're a fan of Will Ferrell? Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Movies.
Comedy movies and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, man. You can't go wrong with those.
I tried watching the Space Jam movie the other day.
Bro, talk to me about that.
I mean, I wasn't able to finish it, not because I didn't like it, but I just wasn't able to.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big LeBron James fan. I mean, his acting, it just seems. I mean, I have to watch it because it's Space Jam.
Right.
I have to, but I have really low expectations now. So,
yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not, but I've heard. The only reason I haven't is because everybody that has is shitting on it.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
I mean, but we also have a perspective from like our days.
Of course.
It's probably gonna be amazing to all the kids now.
Right.
This makes so much sense, but we're like, no, it's not Michael Jordan. Like,
damn. Have you ever incorporated some sort of nostalgia into one of your pieces? Because I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If I ever do, a Tony Visions original, I'm gonna have some. Yeah. I'm gonna need some Power Rangers in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some Lizzie McGuire in there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, all the time, bro. Like, especially doing customs for people. I mean, I can get all type of designs, patches, old stuff. I've made like 3 pieces that were really big hits. Where I used Van Gogh fabrics. So it was like from Starry Night. So like I made a dress when there was like a bunch of Starry Night fabric embedded into it. I have a shiny jacket with a back piece. That one just sold actually, and it's a big fabric roll of the Starry Nights from Van Gogh.
Wow.
So like those are like those are the type of pieces where people see and they're like, oh, it's nostalgic.
You're never gonna find that anywhere else, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then I have another company. It's called Game Time Customs, and
okay.
So we use game stuff also for some of our custom pieces.
What?
Like it's like athletic wear, but like I play around with Mario. We're releasing a Bugs Bunny tee soon. So
damn.
he's like dunking the ball with our game colors and stuff. So it's kind of like Space Jam oriented. That'll be out.
Damn, I'm gonna need me a FIFA shirt, bro.
Do it, bro. Give me that inspiration.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. That's so cool, man. Yeah. Talk to me. There's in the fashion market, it's hard to avoid this topic. Bootleg pieces, fake pieces, bootleg, fake pieces, counterfeit. The counterfeit market is a massive one. Talk to me about your views regarding that.
I mean, obviously it's trash. Like to bootleg anything. I mean, I would just hope that you get what you want out of it. Like it's like back in the day, if you get a bootleg movie, you're gonna watch a great movie, but you're not gonna get that proper quality out of it.
Someone's in front of coffee, standing up and shit.
You're gonna be like 3 years later. You remember that scene? It's like, oh damn, that was the part where somebody stood up. And like, it's not the same. So I mean, if you get a bootleg, like a bootleg Gucci jacket,
right?
Don't expect it to last longer than 3-4 wears, as opposed to a real, like, you get what you pay for.
Right.
You pay to play. Like.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, bootleg is bootleg, bro. It's okay.
How would you react if someone ever tried to replicate one of your pieces?
I mean that's happened a lot of times. Like,
it's happened already?
I mean, like low key, I started doing the Bulletproof vest like like that first, like before Bulletproof Vest like became big. From my perspective and people around me, like I've been doing those for like 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And then it became more of a thing where people are like they're manufacturing like cheaper ones. Like these are like authentic. Like you can undo it. You could slide a bulletproof plate in it. Like, these are authentic bulletproof vests, and I stick to those as opposed to like you can buy one for like $30 now from a cool company that's local or something, and it's just like a vest thing that I don't know.
Right.
But they're they're replicating stuff. I mean, I could be wrong. It could not have been replicated from me, but probably. Like, because I had it on a lot of big people too. But I mean, it's fair. All is fair in art and war.
Right.
Like,
that's
like
true.
I'm not. I wouldn't give unless you're taking my exact design for like piece by piece. But in the art world, it's all fair game. I understand that, and I'm all for it. Like if you make something better than I can make it, then that's my problem. Like you know what I mean? Like if you made it better than me, then I gotta work on it. Like my goal is to make something so good that you can't replicate it, and people are gonna see it, and it's gonna be like, it almost looks like that piece, as opposed to being like, oh, this is way better than that piece.
Well, there's one thing I can say about your pieces is that there's not like I first of all, it's the versatility in them. It's not like, oh, you're only changing. It's not like a Jordan 1 that you change the colorway. Don't get me wrong, love Jordan 1s.
Right.
But every piece is so drastically different from the other. Yeah. And not there wasn't a single piece that when looking at it, I associated to a Louis something or a Gucci this. Like everything is very individualistic. Do you strive for that?
I do. I mean, with my custom pieces for me in general are about, I'd say 70% of my inventory. So I do have pieces like I make certain jerseys where sometimes I do just change the color waves because I try to push for that standard clothing brand stuff as well. But 70% of it is custom pieces. So these pieces are made basically like with a story in mind type thing. Like when I'm making these pieces, I have a vision to what this piece represents. Wow. Like to what if you were to put this on, like what is the vibe for it? What is the style for it? So I mean, it has to be pretty difficult to steal that completely because
100%.
Yeah, like if you put certain patches here, each patch means this. You do a certain embroidery here, like they should all tie into the same theme of it.
Right.
So whatever that piece means, it's like a story through threads and pictures, like a picture book. You know what I mean? It's like
100%.
Yeah.
Talk to us about how do you source your materials, and more so than anything, how long did it take for you to learn the best place from where to source your materials from?
Well, I started standard stuff doing like thrifting and stuff. I think thrift shops are one of the best places to get started because you can find so many great fabrics and pieces and fabrics on pieces that you can just cut it. I've taken large dresses and just cut like a whole section of it out, and it's the same thing as going to a store and buying a roll of fabric. It's the same exact thing. You can take any type of swatch from anywhere. But as we started progressing, obviously I go through more fabric stores and stuff.
Right.
I kind of like hoard as I go through.
Of course.
Anytime I travel anywhere, I try to stop at a fabric store because they always have different type of fabrics and textiles that I wouldn't be able to find here, obviously.
That's so cool.
So I honestly, I pick up as I go. Anywhere I'm at, I pick up as I go, and I bring them back to the laboratory, and then when it's time for them to come out, eventually, like it'll be perfect. It's like, oh wait, I have this one fabric that I bought 4 years ago.
Wow. Damn.
So, yeah, I think it's important. It's like that's what I do. So I got to stock up on my stuff.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
So damn, imagine getting a custom and it's like, oh, I got this fabric in New York 7 years ago, and I'm using it on your piece. Like that's so.
This fabric right here, actually, I don't know if you see the back of it too.
Let me see.
This fabric is a vintage Marc Jacobs fabric as well. Like
stand up. You see the back?
See the back of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I mean, this piece, like we were saying, I found this piece in New York during Fashion Week at a place called Mood Fabrics, which is very big, very awesome, reputable. But I found it there, and it was like the last of it. It was last yard. They said it was like limited edition.
Damn.
So I was like, damn, okay. So I mean, I still have like a little bit left from it, but every once in a while I put it on a piece. And so it's like a part of more pieces, but it's like limited edition. It was used for like only a few people, so.
God,
this is where hoarding comes into play.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you get my garage. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about. Every single week we have three segments. And the last one is actually the quest for the truth. You know what I'm talking about? And in this segment, I ask our illustrious guest a random, emphasis on the word random, card from this here deck of cards and see what the man has in store for us. All right. And I'm trying to not hit you with a very hard one. There was one that said, "What's the most illegal thing you've ever done?" I'm like, I'm not gonna do that one. So
keep that off the record.
yeah. Cut that out. Okay, this is not as bad, but it definitely, I feel, and you can either make it part of the fashion industry or your personal life, whatever you want. Tony, what's something you will never do again?
Oh, wow. I mean, that would definitely wind up tying into the industry or something. All I can think about is just taking jobs from people who have no established work ethic.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, you can waste a lot of time, you know. So unless you're, I know that this is what you do, this is what you really are doing right now. Like you're taking it full throttle. Like I don't do that anymore. Like,
right.
If you're just starting off, I mean, well, I'll do what I can to help, but you can only put so much energy into it at this point.
Especially, I mean, if you've dedicated, X amount of years on it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You've been persistent.
Yeah.
And I think that really makes a difference with somebody that isn't, that really makes the difference.
Like you guys are dope. I'm sure you wouldn't collab with somebody who's just starting in their garage. I
mean, we get a lot of DMs and shit like that, but it's like, it's a fine line. It's tough because you do want to help.
Yeah, 100%. But there's ways to help.
Right.
Still, but I mean, you can't put your whole business on the line for that at this point.
Right. Of course. It's like,
but there's ways to help. Always
right.
reach out to us, and we can figure something out some way to help you get to a point. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Like, it's what it's about.
Definitely.
But we can't put our reputations at stake without any backing it like that.
Couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Could not have said it better myself.
No,
not at all. It's just knowing your self-worth.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. Tony, before we start wrapping up on this magnificent powerhouse of an episode, first of all, thank you so much for dropping on by. You know what I'm talking about? Of course, brother. I wanted to know what's in store for you. What do you see Tony visions in the next 5-10 years? What are some short-term and some long-term goals for you?
Yeah, I mean, short term, we're gonna take off soon, bro. We have to. Like, we're doing great, but it's a big world out there. The goal is global domination, bro. So we have a lot of work to do, but I mean, we're all the pieces are in play now. And long term, being accessible to the world, easier, more accessible, more empowering, and having a good stake in the fashion industry, and being able to fix the game a little bit. The game's a little upside down right now.
Where do you feel the game is lacking right now?
Authenticity. Oof. Like, a lot of stuff is just people put out what works, which is that was a big thing in fashion, and it still is, but to an extent. Like, you can go by the trends and the colors of everything, but then you wind up doing everything that everybody's doing. I mean, there's always to blow up, you need that shock value. You need to break a boundary somewhere, to break a barrier where it's like that changes the game. There's always some of the most notorious artists in any genre. They always do something or come out with something or release something that breaks all those boundaries, and they do that by not following the trends of everything that's going on. So once you're doing just what you're supposed to do to make ends meet or fit into everything, you lose your authenticity at some point. You know what I mean?
Very
like
true.
how does an artist go through with their art by somebody's calendar and color panels and like how do you direct an artist and say that this is what needs to be made at this time because this is what's working for everybody.
Wow.
At that point, it's more of a business company base as opposed to you lose that authenticity of a real designer that's behind the scenes making sure that they put out that, then everybody else makes it happen.
Wow.
You know, so I think authenticity, bro, like definitely.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. What about the sneaker game? I mean, you yourself came in with these magnificent boots that you yourself, you know, had a role in spicing up. If you can, actually, let me take a picture. I'm not gonna make you damn do a split over here. You know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, you see it on the screen now.
We'll do the flash that's reflective.
Oh, okay. Say
These
less.
boots are actually painted by JoJo Customs. This is a collaboration.
Okay.
So these are my Tony Visions boots. They were all black. We're releasing these again in September, and then she definitely blessed me with the paint job on it.
Oh wow! Talk to us about the shoe game. Is that something you're dabbling into as well? Do you recommend anybody? Yourself? What's kind of like your style when it comes to the shoe game? Talk to us about that.
I mean, in high school, I was a sneakerhead.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I had so many shoes, and I was big on sneakers, definitely. And then as time went by, I kind of just stopped a little bit. Like, I mean, I got tired of always making sure my shoes were clean and like and this and that. And then I started wearing boots, and it's like you can kick stuff, you can keep them clean, you can make them look like dress shoes sometimes. You
For
can
real? Damn.
I became a boot person like maybe 3-4 years ago, and I just prefer it, bro. Like I have like 4 different black boots. Like,
Damn.
One is like the shiny ones. One of them literally look like dress shoes, and then I have like the combat boots.
Right.
Like, I just feel like it's more. I don't know. It became my style. Like,
Right.
But I don't plan on releasing any like sneakers. We are releasing our boots, the all black combat boots for that person that just likes black boots.
Dang.
And then we're working on some dress shoes too, like more. I mean, you gotta have that upscale just in case. For
Hell yeah, bro! You need you need an outfit to go to the opera. You know what I'm saying?
Just in case you go to opera, bro.
Gang shit.
Shit happens.
Shit does happen, bro.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, I mean, sneakers. I feel like that industry is it's crazy, and it's not really my cup of tea, probably.
Right.
So I got so much other stuff to worry about. So I'll focus to the more simple stuff, like the standard, like a black dress shoe and our boots and stuff. Like,
very cool. Very cool. And last question of the evening, Tony, if there was one thing that you could tell Mr. Tony Visions from 7-8 years ago, what would it be?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Just definitely, you know, don't worry about the process as much as, you know, not just me, but I'm sure everybody. But when you're going through your process of whatever it takes to get to a point where you feel like you've almost mastered your stuff, like there's always trials and tribulations, ups and downs, and all that stuff. But once you learn that, you know, this is what you're doing, this is what you do, this is what you're good at, like just don't worry about none of that stuff. Don't stress it. Just keep going. You get to a point where, you know, it's horrible. It's because you're probably about to break that barrier, you know? Like, get through it, because once you're through it, you won't go through that again.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like,
damn, I like that. I like that. Man's got bars too.
I got bars, bro. Mixtape releasing. No, just kidding.
I was like, that. I thought you were for real for a second. I was like, oh shit.
Play my video.
Yeah, multi-talented for real. No. Tony, thank you so much for dropping on by today.
Thank you for having me,
of
man.
course, Tony. You know, if the people, of the listeners, if they want to contact you for original piece, if they want to see what's in your catalog right now, if they want to check you out, where can they do all that?
Yeah. You can check me out on Instagram, Tony Visions.
Boom. You see it on the screen.
Just like that, yeah. Social media, everything is Tony Visions. You can Google it, Tony Visions designer. You can shop from our catalog on tonyvisions.us.
Beautiful.
But if you want something custom, something you don't see on there, something that's on our social media, something exclusive, just hit us up directly.
Hit him up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need that one of one, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to find another. You go to Japan, boom, they're not going to be wearing it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find it anywhere else except for this man, Tony Visions, and the creative masterpiece that goes on in his brain. Ladies and gentlemen, what an episode of colossal proportions we've had today with Tony Visions. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for joining us. You know what I'm talking about. Every Thursday at midnight, you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? You go on YouTube, but you go on Spotify, you go on Deezer, you go on Apple Podcasts, you go on all that good stuff. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, you go on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we got. We got 17 and a half quarter cameras in here. That's what we got them. You know what I'm talking about? You can see the visuals, the pictures, the outfits themselves, all that links, all those good stuff. Please hit the man with a follow. Please DM him for one of those beautiful original pieces. And I guarantee you will be oh so very ecstatic that you did. Ladies and gentlemen, every Thursday at midnight. Holla. And it don't matter what the world thinks. You can say how you feel on midnight in Miami. Where you can push it to the limit.